Hey guys, and welcome to my first video ever as the Lyft driver that I wanted to go ahead and share with you. Now, I am a Lyft driver, been driving for Lyft for about 3 months, and I actually run the website, the Scottsdaledriver.com. But the first video that we're going to be talking about today is how to get started driving for Lyft, or if you're already driving for Lyft, how to increase your income for driving with them. So I'm going to be going over some driving, what you need to know when you're on the road, some income, what can you expect to make, how can you increase your tips if you're making any, and any tips and tricks on the road or in your car to help make sure that it's the best possible experience for the passenger. Now, the reason why I think that you should be listening to me is I've been driving again for about 3 months, which doesn't sound like that long. I started in October of this year, but I hit it very hard. Now, I am supposed to be driving Lyft for part-time. I actually have a full-time job, Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 or 8 to 5 a.m., where I'm not able to drive during those hours. Those are typical primetime hours, but I'm able to drive anything outside of those hours. So what I did when I started in October was I was hitting about 50 to 60 hours a week outside of those times. My biggest focus that I've learned was on Friday and Saturday nights. Those were huge winners for me. Okay? Now, with that, because I've driven so much and I've given a lifetime huge amount of rides, I've actually managed to maintain a high weekly rating of 4.87. Okay? Lyft gives you average ratings of anywhere from 1 star to 5 stars. Okay? With that rating system, anything that's considered 4.8 and higher is considered excellent. Anything that's considered 4.6 to 4.7 is average. Anything that's underneath the 4.6 or lower, you actually get at risk to be deactivated as a driver. So the fact that I'm at a 4.87 over the last 3 months, and I've managed actually that week in and week out, should say something about how well I'm driving for my passengers and the experience I'm providing. Now, on average now, I actually do only drive about 10 to 15 hours a week. Because when I started, I was putting in 50 to 60 hours, and it was supposed to be only part-time. But there is a learning curve that takes part in what you do when you're driving. So what I'm here to do is help you guys learn to cut that learning curve down, increase the income that you're making, so that way you're not on the road for as many hours having to stress about how to make this extra income if you're doing this part-time. And that's what you always hear me advocate, is this as a part-time gig. I know there are people who do it full-time. Never going to knock on them, because it is an awesome full-time gig as well. I personally can only do this part-time though. So with that here, I am here to help. My solely I'm only focused here on part-time work. I mainly work Friday and Saturday nights. Now, when I do drive on those Friday and Saturday nights, I do manage to make anywhere from $24 to $25 an hour, and that's for the rides that I give. I do a great job at getting into the right places at the right time, so that way I am hitting those $24 to $25 an hour areas. I know there are other drivers on the road that'll say, you can't do that. It doesn't make sense. 24 to 25, there's maintenance, there's all this kind of stuff that just means that it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to even argue with these people. It happens. They're just going to argue with you. But I'm here to tell you that you can, in fact, make that, and you can, in fact, use that money for, your life, your expenditures. Not many jobs are paying $24 to $25 an hour anymore if you don't have a degree or if you don't have any special training for it. Hopping in a car and driving like a taxi, you're not going to make $24 to $25 an hour. You're probably going to make whatever your tips are after you go ahead and pay whatever your taxi fees are. But with Lyft, you have the unique ability to make that and keep that for yourself. So it's a great thing. Okay? Now, I know the appeal of Lyft is driving anywhere, anytime, any way that you want. I have to be honest. You can't fall into that habit. Okay? Because it is amazing that you can go ahead and just be like, yeah, I'm my own boss. I'm going to do what I want, whenever I want, however I want. But when you do things like that as a business owner, because that's how I treat this, as my business, okay? When you do that as a business owner, you're not going to make as much money. You have to treat this as, picture it like this. You go to Walmart and you want to buy something. Well, if Walmart's always closed because they're choosing when they want to be open and when they don't want to be open, their sales are going to be driven down considerably to the point where they're not really making money, or they're going to be shaking their heads asking, why are we not making money? So as a business, you have to give yourself the ability to stay open for as much time as possible to make the most amount of money. All right, so I hope that like actually gives you a little bit of an explanation there. So you can't just say, well, I don't want to drive Friday nights, I don't want to drive Saturday nights, I don't want to drive during the day. There's a bunch of stuff that people don't want to do. It's what you are doing and the availability that you are giving that is going to help you make more money as a driver. Okay, so whenever I hit the road, and I learned this pretty quick, is I will normally drive after work on Friday night. I'll be on the road by about 6 p.m. Now, I know I have a strict schedule I follow, so that way I know I'm not getting in the car too long, I'm not getting squirrely, and I'm providing the best possible experience for my passengers. So I know when I'm on the road from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I'm focused on driving, picking up passengers, dropping them off, being in the right areas at the right time. I know that from 8 to 9 o'clock, I'm going to take a quick break. I'm going to stretch, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to move around, get some coffee. I'm going to be out doing something for me, so that way I'm not just stuck in the car. But then when I'm back in from 9 to 11, I'm hitting it hard again. Now, it's subject to how you decide you want to do it, because again, you can start and stop whenever you want. But what I've learned is you have to make sure you give yourself a schedule. And it doesn't have to be like mine. I do mine 2 hours on, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour off, 2 hours on, 30 minutes to an hour off. You don't have to follow that schedule, but give yourself a schedule to follow when you're out driving. So that way you're treating it exactly like a business would. These are my hours I'm going to be open. I know for a fact every Friday night I drive from 6 p.m. to 5 a.m. Now that's a long day for me. It's actually my longest day of the week. But that's a schedule that I gave myself because I enjoy doing it. I love driving for Lyft. I've never seen anything better for it. It is truly amazing. But that's the schedule I gave myself. So I know I'm not going to be stopping at midnight just because I'm like, I don't want to drive anymore. Or somebody calls me at 1 a.m. saying, hey, I want to hang out. No. This is my job. This is my company. I'm going to run it the way I need to. Okay? So that's just something to keep in mind when you're doing it. And for me personally, again, I work Friday and Saturday nights. Most Sundays I actually don't work anymore because when I started, I needed to have a day off. So what I do is I actually would work between my day job and my night job. I would actually put in a little over 80 hours a week. At this point in time, I am still hitting probably about 50 hours a week between both, but that's because I've figured out how to cut this down. So the biggest thing, again, is going with the schedule. Okay? Now, on the weekend hustle, I know Friday night I'd have to say between 9 p.m. and about 2 a.m. are the busiest times that you want to be out driving people around. Okay? I know some people say, you got to go to the airports, you got to hit the surges, you got to be a part of these things. That all may be true. Okay? I've driven in all of those as well. I've made money doing those. Me personally, I love driving people home from the bars. I have the best conversations. My passengers enjoy the ride. They're usually very friendly, okay? So I love driving people home from the bars. That's my favorite place to be at. Now, if you like what you're hearing so far, go over to the scottsdaledriver.com. I'll have a link in the description. And actually check out some commonly asked questions, things that you need to know to keep your vehicle clean, and how to actually share stories about passengers, everything, okay? But again, this is just Breon Bradley telling you how it is from the Scottsdale driver's perspective.